Trump just changed crypto forever. Big things are happening. If you don't pay attention, you'll miss it. The total crypto market cap just blew past $4 trillion for the first time in history. The first major US crypto regulation, the Genius Act, was signed into law by President Trump. And spot ETFs are seeing record inflows. If we look at totals, the numbers are huge. Over $1.1 trillion for Bitcoin ETFs, over $108 billion for Ethereum ETFs, and hundreds of millions for Solana ETFs. The crypto market is on the move, and one of my favorite indexes is already showing major strength, which means altcoins are already starting to pump. We've been seeing three titans leading the charge: XRP, XLM, and XDC. These are three very different projects, but they're making big moves and going head to head. And they've caught the attention of both institutional and retail investors. In this video, I'm going to dive into all of them and tell you exactly why I think one of them is going to completely pull away from the rest. I'm going to give you my complete unfiltered thesis and expose the warning signs you need to watch out for. This one is going to be very controversial, so hit the like button and let's get into XRP versus XLM versus XDC. When you look at the performance of these three, you see green all around. They've all had a very successful month, with Stellar leading the way in terms of recent growth. But they all have their own stories, strengths, and weaknesses, and the charts all look very different. Before I get into the technical analysis, I want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes only, and I am not a financial advisor. Crypto is extremely risky, so do your own research before you decide to make any moves. With that said, let's open up the XRP chart. XRP is showing a high confidence bullish continuation setup, and if you're learning TA, this is one to study. First, look at the start of this chart. XRP exploded in November, rallying hard and fast with major volume. That kind of vertical move is what we call a flagpole, and it is the first piece of a classic bullish flag. From mid-December 2024 to June 2025, XRP cooled off and consolidated in a wide range. This wasn't a random chop, it was the market catching its breath. This range formed the flag portion of the structure, building energy for the next breakout. Now in July 2025, we're seeing that breakout play out. XRP pushed above the 330 zone with strength, and after a quick run towards the all-time high of $3.65, it's starting to consolidate again. The smaller pause at the top could form another mini bull flag or handle, giving XRP another lift-off point. The structure is clean. It's an aggressive rally, followed by a long reset, and then a breakout, and now consolidation near highs. That's exactly the kind of rhythm you want in strong trends. And it tells us this move has room to continue, especially if volume stays healthy. So if you're trying to level up your TA game, keep your eye on how XRP behaves here. This is how breakouts are built, with structure, not hype. Now, if you're eyeing a position in XRP based on the setup, or really any crypto that's catching fire right now, I've been using WEEX exchange for my trades, and it's solid for getting in without the usual headaches. Sign up through my link down below and you'll get 30,000 USDT in bonuses, along with a straight 30% cut on trading fees. This is one of the best offers out there on YouTube right now, but heads up, it's only around for a limited time. No KYC required, and it works no matter where you're based. Sign up with the link, give it a spin, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you all think. Now, here's another crazy chart, XLM. It just pulled off one of the cleanest stealth reversals in the market, but it played out very differently from XRP. While XRP had a long sideways range, XLM went through a slow, painful bleed from December to June, making it look forgotten. But under the surface, price was holding a steady base, which is a classic sign of quiet accumulation. Then mid-July hit and XLM launched into a V-shaped recovery with massive volume, the biggest since its November breakout. That kind of move, backed by real buying pressure, signals smart money stepping in hard. Now we're seeing a bull flag forming. The price is holding strong near the highs, which tells us this wasn't a fluke. It's likely the first leg of something bigger. Here's the alpha. Retail called this a dead coin, but whales saw the base, waited for the breakout, and are likely still here. If that flag breaks, don't be surprised by another explosive move. And that brings us to the XDC chart. XDC is quietly flipping from forgotten to focused, and the chart is telling a clear story. After a steep downtrend from January to June, price settled into a calm accumulation range. From April through early July, XDC moved sideways. This is a textbook base that got ignored by most of the market. Then in mid-July, the breakout hit. with strong candles, rising volume, and a clear rounded bottom structure forming beneath it. That's not noise, that's a trend reversal. Since then, price action has been forming a bullish stair-step pattern, rising, pausing, then pushing higher again. This kind of healthy structure usually leads to bigger moves because it reflects real demand, not just hype. Here's the alpha. This is a rounded recovery off a long base, backed by volume and still underexposed. If this trend holds, XDC could run harder than people expect, especially as liquidity rotates into forgotten coins with fresh momentum. It's a very exciting time, and all three of these charts are showing bullish momentum. We typically see liquidity flow into Bitcoin first and then rotate to altcoins after that. But we're already seeing some action thanks to hype, news, and speculation. You're going to see XRP, XLM, and XDC pop up throughout the course of this bull run. And I want to make sure you're aware exactly what these projects are and where they're going. They have their similarities, like their high-speed transactions, low fees, and scalability. And it's clear they're built for efficiency in a market that's changing very quickly. But where they really differ is their unique use cases, which could determine who leads the pack in this bull run. Before we explore that, I want to jump back into something important for anyone looking to act on these insights: finding a reliable place to trade. With so many options out there and the risks of downtime or security issues on even the big names, I'm diversified with more than 10 exchanges myself. Right now, WEEX is the main one I'm using. If you're interested, you can get a 20% deposit bonus using my link down below. That'll give you a solid start, but remember, this is a limited time deal. Now let's keep the momentum going and unpack those key differences. So what sets XRP, XLM, and XDC apart? These three projects might look the same because they're all loved by the institutional world, but there's more to it. Starting with XRP, it's built for big banks and payment giants, acting as a bridge currency for smoother international transfers. Ripple has over 300 partnerships, including big names in banking like Santander, American Express, MoneyGram, Standard Chartered, Bank of America, and Western Union. They're using XRP for liquidity in exchanges, settlements, and tokenizing real-world assets. Here you can see there's well over 100 million in assets tokenized on the XRP ledger right now. XRP is the third biggest crypto, and it recently hit an all-time high with a market cap of over $200 billion. The community is big and momentum is massive heading into this cycle, but there's some risks and criticism to watch out for. Ripple holds about 40% of supply, mostly in escrow, and they release 1 billion tokens monthly, which could flood the market. Plus, the SEC lawsuit is lingering. There's been progress, but it's not fully resolved, so there's uncertainty. The rabbit hole goes very deep when it comes to XRP, and I give you all the alpha on this channel, so be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. Now on to XLM. They also handle payments, but the parent company is the non-profit Stellar Development Foundation. XLM is ranked 14th with a $14 billion market cap, so it's already a heavy hitter. The project's main focus is on underserved regions. They enable cheap transactions and an on-chain DEX for direct asset trades. When it comes to RWA tokenization, Stellar is a beast. They're aiming for $3 billion tokenized this year, and they've already ranked in the top 5 with more than 400 million already on chain. And there's big partnerships here too. Franklin Templeton, Visa, Stripe, MasterCard, World Bank, IBM, Flutterwave, Tempo, Paxos, Ondo, and more, pushing financial access in developing markets. Like XRP, it's payments and banking, but non-profit for the underbanked. There's also some risks here. The Stellar Foundation controls a big chunk of the supply, and there's a lot of competition in this space, even though XLM has its own niche within the payments narrative. Still, with that RWA strength and growth potential, I'm expecting a lot of big things from this one. And finally, there's XDC. It's the underdog with a $1.5 billion market cap, but it's still a heavy hitter that's well within the top 100 cryptos. XDC focuses on enterprise trade finance, supply chains, and RWA tokenization for businesses. It's a hybrid chain, which means they have public transparency like Bitcoin, but with privacy too. It's perfect for sensitive data with verifiable transactions. They're also a player in the RWA space with over $25 million tokenized and counting. XDC is the newest of the three, so it's a higher risk, higher reward play. It's less known than XRP or XLM, so everything hinges on hype and adoption. But the smaller market cap means bigger multiples are possible. XLM crushed the last bull run and rallied hard when the market pumped at the end of the last year, So in terms of growth, I think XDC can pull away because it takes a lot less money for the price to pump. Here's the bottom line on these three titans. XRP dominates institutional adoption, but there's some centralization and lawsuit risks. XLM gets overshadowed by XRP, but it has a big lead when it comes to RWA. And when it comes to XDC, it targets enterprises with newer technology than both XRP and XLM, which means it has the most potential for growth if it catches fire. When it comes to me personally, here's my thinking. If I was going for stability, I would position heavier in XRP. If I wanted higher risk with higher reward potential, then I'm leaning more towards XDC. And I would put XLM somewhere in the middle. But because I think all three of them are strong projects that have different risk profiles and market cap brackets, I would diversify across the three, while being weighted differently based on my risk tolerance, of course. And that's all, folks. Please remember that crypto is extremely risky and my videos are for educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, so please do your own research before you decide to invest. If you enjoyed this video, then definitely subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you can catch my next video right when it drops. And if you're interested in seeing my portfolio, I just dropped a video revealing it for the first time ever right over here. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.